And now, Giant Sports Talk Live. Here are your hosts, Eric and Glenn.
We're talking Giants every day. From McCovey Cove to the Oracle Park lights, Eric and Glenn keep the fire burning bright, fighting for the glory, no matter what it costs us, breaking down the moments from the wins to the losses. Giant Sports Talk, we're here for the ride. Eric and Glenn with the fan base pride, talking dreams, will they contend? But we'll back the Giants till the very end. Let's go Giants! Yes! 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 Oh! Eric and Glenn breaking it down, all Giants all the time.
All right, welcome to Giant Sports Talk Live. Glenn, we're back here. It's Monday night.
Hey, buddy.
Gonna do it all over again. You know, on Friday, right? We did the predictions. It was a lot of fun. It was good stuff. Had a lot of good. That was a good time. Had Armand on the show. I see him in the chat. What's up, Armand? And
Good job, Armand. Good job. He comes locked and loaded every show.
He does, absolutely. We didn't get into the trades too much, right? Didn't get into the trades too much, but today we got something specific. You know, who could the Giants work with? And I got the Minnesota Twins. I will have to give kudos to Armand. He sent me an interesting link. It was Minnesota Twins content, and boy, it is not looking good for the Minnesota Twins, Glenn. I mean, it sounds like they're going to be selling off, because I guess they're going to be going through an ownership change, and it's right now it's a mess in Minnesota. They pretty much got rid of their entire bullpen in the last trade deadline, and it doesn't look like they're going to go anywhere. So,
what did the report say? Did you get a chance to look at it? Because this has a lot. This sounds a lot like San Diego last year, Eric. Oh my God, they're blowing it up,
and there you go.
What are you reading out of it?
They're in a massive amount of debt, which the San Diego Padres are in the same boat. San Diego Padres may wind up trading some of their pieces as well, because they're not looking good financially. And it's the same thing with the Minnesota Twins. They had to bring on some minority owners to help fund the club, basically. And right now they haven't even made any amounts. It's the guy who was talking, the main guy. They said it's been 4 months and they haven't heard hide no hair of what is going on with these minority owners, and they don't know where the roster is going to be. I mean, they're sitting there putting up a brave face, but the way it's looking, Minnesota Twins are probably going to be selling. And look, Giants need some pieces. Minnesota have some pieces. Could they be a team that the San Francisco Giants work with? And that's what we're going to talk about. Maybe it works. Maybe it doesn't. I put out something yesterday, a little post, and I put a poll out there as far as what do people think as far as getting one of the three or if none of the three players that I mentioned, which is Joe Ryan, starting pitcher, Pablo Lopez, starting pitcher, and then Byron Buxton, outfielder. And it seems like the overwhelming majority right now shows Joe Ryan with Buxton in second. So we're going to have to see what the Giants could do. Because I'm going to tell you something, Glenn. If the Giants are going to do anything as far as improving this roster, they cannot do this by free agency alone. They can't. It's impossible. You're going to have to do some trades. You're going to have it's a must. And who will it involve? Well, we'll talk about this. It can involve different people, man. It can involve, look, as far as the Giants are concerned, it could involve Eldridge. It can involve Ramos. It can involve Wisenhunt. It can involve Landon Roop. I mean, there's different people that can be involved in this type of trade with the Minnesota Twins. And look, you could get 1, 2, or I ain't going to get 3, but you could get a combination. You probably could get 2 players out of Minnesota. It's a possibility. It's not out of, let's just say that it's not out of the realm of possibilities where the Giants could do this. And I kind of want to just kick this around since, hey, this is the offseason. And let's get into this. Glenn, it's already started. Or was it yesterday? Josh Naylor agreed to a 5-year deal, and that was cheap. $92 million, 92 and a half.
And he's a gamer, man. That's a great price. Great.
Right. Price. What was, I mean, honestly, if that's where the market is being set, man, I'm kind of interested here.
Well, do you think that has a lot to do with, again, a potential lockout or strike next year?
Maybe. Hey, Glenn, you're hitting on something. That very well could be an issue.
Maybe some owners and GMs around the league going to be tippy-toeing around this offseason, Eric.
It could be.
Tippy-toe.
Could be.
Tippy-toe.
So it's going to, I tell you, today I was, I'm pretty wound up about somebody else. But we're not going to. We'll talk maybe a little bit about it towards the end. But
you wound up?
Oh my God, no, not me, dude. I'm telling you. What's up, Mark?
Just the start of the
what is Mark got?
Calm down.
What is Mark got? What is this? Oh, is that a Tops? That's a Tops, right? 3-pack? Is that what it says on his avatar?
Yeah, that looks like the 1979 Tops, Eric.
See, you would know. That's why I brought it up. See,
it looks like 79.
Hi,
Mark. All right, Eric. You know what? Let's just jump into it. Pitching. The word on the street. Word on the street out of Toronto. I mean, I listen to several radio stations during the day, including starting my morning with KMBR, and then I jump ship over to WEEI in Boston. I listen to a lot of the East Coast stations. And Toronto, the Fan 590, locked in. Listen to their coverage, of course, of the playoffs. And, of course, they had some good coverage of the Canadian Football League Championship. Our pal Lou locked into a big ticket yesterday.
Did he?
He picked them back in May to win the whole thing.
Oh, wow. Well, let's see. Hey, Lou, I thought I sent you the link yesterday. I just emailed you the link again. So come on in, man. Come on in.
So getting a chance to listen to that Toronto radio station, Eric, they're talking a lot. And right now, Eric, word on the street, the word on the radio in Toronto and the Jays, the insiders there, boy, everybody seems to be leaning on this as almost a done deal. Scherzer to the Giants. It's going to happen. He's going to sign with his old pal, our old manager with no major league experience, Eric. And, of course, Scherzer would then join another Jay. We just signed their one of their coaches, didn't we? Last week while I was away. I
Hunter
read that.
Mintz. Not Hunter Pence. Hunter Mintz.
Well, the big difference. Big difference there, Eric. So Scherzer just ain't cutting it for me if that does go down. And again, nothing's steering me away from that right now.
And here's another thing that's kind of surprised me. Mark Hallberg, no longer on the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah, we talked about it last week.
Yeah, we did.
I thought if you were going to keep anybody in the house, he was the guy.
I thought he was going to be. Yeah, I thought he was going to be the guy.
But Eric, come on. Do the San Francisco Giants ever surprise us? Come on. Of course they do.
I tell you.
Never take anything for granted.
Look, come on. If we want to be serious about this, Buster Posey has been pretty, as far as talent acquisition, the guy has made some pretty damn big moves. We could all say that. When he goes out and when he wants a player, he goes out there and he gets them. So whether you like it or not, he's convicted, right? He wanted Matt Chapman to be extended. He got him extended. He wanted Willie Adames to be the shortstop. Willie Adames is the shortstop. He wanted to trade for Devers. He traded for Devers.
Yeah,
so,
but making the boys say, Eric, you can't always get what you want.
That's a fact. All right, let's talk about this now.
So who's going to do the biggest question, I think, in this whole show would be, who would want to deal with the Giants in a trade opportunity? And who would they want, Eric? That's the downfall for this team. It's not like we're cooking with a lot of depth here. We can just trade off all kinds of pieces to get better right now.
Well, I tell you, I mean, it depends.
And you
It
know what?
depends on
Remember I mentioned on the last
Depends.
show? I mentioned Matos. Luis Matos has got to be a guy who's dealt. I mean, if there's a sure thing this offseason, it's going to be he is moving somewhere else.
Well,
But
there's
the
going to be a
key
lot of
is
people moving. There's
they
gonna be a
got
lot of people.
the Giants can't do anything with him, Eric. They can't do anything with him. He's got to get locked into the lineup. And that puts other teams, I mean, he becomes then a bargain basement pickup because, hey, we know you got to move him. You can't get greedy. I just see that's going to not play out too well for the Giants. And again, I say right now, emphatically, if you want to trade Eldridge, Eric, and he goes on to, 40, hitting 40 bombs a year somewhere and bats is 260 or 270, and he's what we expect he will be, what word on the street is, what word around baseball and all these managers is, you never come back for that. You'll never come back from that, Eric. That's another decade lost. That's a decade lost, a player we can't give up.
Well, I tell you what, there's a many different ways that this can go. Honestly, if we sit here and think about it right now, we're going to concentrate on the Minnesota Twins, but Giants could either hit free agency and throw out a lot of cash to get players, or they could trade and throw a lot of players, or they could do a little bit of both. Well, we're about to find out. Now, let's talk about this a little bit.
Well, the question, if you want to talk about something, Eric, you're talking about free agency at the beginning of the show. You said the key will be trades.
Keys of trades. The key is trades.
Because when
you have to.
When have you ever seen a lineup like the unemployment line to get in on San Francisco? And what would even make you dream that there will be all these players just, we got to go to, I want to be with San Francisco.
I tell you what.
I don't know.
I'll tell you what, because this is what you're looking at. Minnesota Twins, they want to get rid of money, right? They want to get rid of money. Pure and simple. That's the reason why. It has nothing to do with the talent for Minnesota. It has everything to do with the talent for the San Francisco Giants. If the Giants trade someone like a Wisenhunt or a Ramos, right? Ramos has got one more year of control. You're not going to be spending a lot of money on this. Even when he hits arbitration, it's not like he's going to be asking or garnering a whole bunch of money. So he's got that. And here's the thing.
I want to see that Naylor deal today, Eric.
Well, yeah. I mean, hey, maybe the price is a little bit lower than we thought. There's a and it may be because of the ensuing lockout, maybe. But let's see what happens. Okay, let's look at this guy first. Pablo Lopez. Let's bring up his numbers.
Wait a minute, you're all over the place now. Eric Ramos. You're saying I kind of hear a little bit of we'll get him on the cheap. You know how much I hate that, Eric. Just because we're getting him cheap, does he become a defensive? Is he the Ozzie Smith of left field all of a sudden, a defensive wizard? I just want the best players available, and this all goes back to I see in the chat people talking about it, insane as usual, talking about trading him. He could garner pieces.
Here's the
Eric,
thing.
Why? Let me ask you that, Eric. What's in your opinion? Why is everybody like, we can just trade him and get all kinds? Why do you 100%. Want to trade him?
Because you can
when every other team in baseball wants him.
No, because why? Hold on. You got to be careful on how this works. You got to reach out to that team and say, hey, I'm interested in player A and player B, or maybe just player A. And hey, we're willing to give up this guy and this guy. And they could sit there and look and say, you know what? They're on, one guy, well, actually, both of them are on your major league roster. They're not prospects, and there's upside to Wisenhunt, and Ramos has already shown that he could hit 20 home runs plus in a season. That's going to have some value, and he's a good bat. His defense, I think, could be worked on, but the point is they're trying to save money, and you're going to still get good value out of Wisenhunt and Ramos if you trade for a guy. Look at this. This is Pablo Lopez, right? These are his numbers. Hold on. Where the heck? Let's go. Yeah, here we go. Mm-hmm. Where is this the one I wanted? Yeah, hold on. I went too much. This is where innings pitched. Okay. Last year he was hurt, so he only threw 75 innings. But the years prior, 185, 194, 180. The guy is a workhorse. Okay. Mm-hmm. He's a ground ball pitcher. Look at that. Last year, not so much for the simple fact that he didn't play as many games, but he's sitting around mid 40s. For a ground ball rate. That's something that you like to see, because if you don't have the strikeout pitch, then if you're making contact, you're going to hit it into the defense, hopefully. So that's something that you like, right? Again, and he's only 30 years old. And more importantly, you know what his contract is? Well, let's bring up his contract. And I'll show you exactly why this would be entertaining for the San Francisco Giants. Here's Pablo Lopez. He's got 2 years of control. So he has a little bit of controllability. He doesn't have the super long contract that the Giants have been saying that they don't want to do. And he's not terribly expensive, $21 million a year. That's nothing in today's market. Pablo Lopez could fit into that number 3 or even a number 2 fairly damn easily. If I'm not mistaken, I think he might have been the 1 or 2 in the Minnesota Twins rotation. So what you're doing is you're getting, and then, right, you're getting the rotation piece that you need. And it's not going to cost you all that much. And it's only a 2-year deal. So by the time he's done, either the Giants could decide to extend him if they like him, or they could go on. Maybe that gives enough time for the Giants to develop another starting pitcher that could fill that spot when Pablo Lopez's contract is over. So you got something in that. And again, it's the key is that $21 million gets off the books of the Minnesota Twins. They don't want to, they're trying to do this on the cheap. Period. That's it. Right now, you look at Joe Ryan. The guy is costing you nothing. He's $6 million, right? But
I think he's a $6 million pitcher, Eric. 13-10 last year.
That you can't look at the. I hate to say this, can't look at the win-loss. You're gonna have to look at his numbers here, real quick. Last year, Pablo had a sub-3 ERA. All right, so Pablo Lopez.
You're having trouble with a little Nicky Lopez.
Man, you try saying Pablo Lopez. Yeah, that's
Nicky
not
Lopez.
easy. Pablo
Licky
Lopez was pretty damn good. Let me bring up Joe Ryan's number and we can talk about this. But again, he's going to be cheaper. But here's the thing. Because he's cheaper, he's going to cost you more. So it may or may not cost you a Elliot Ramos. And you might have to sweeten the deal. All right, here we go. Bring up his numbers. Again, this is going to be Joe Ryan.
So if you trade Ramos, we're getting ahead of ourselves. You trade Ramos, what are we doing? Who plays left?
We're getting a starting pitcher. But here's the thing. There's more to this.
Can't rob Peter to pay Paul here, Eric.
Hold on. We're gonna get somewhere. Ground ball rate. His ground ball rate isn't all that great. Line drives, not too bad. Fly balls is a little bit up there. I think Pablo Lopez is a little bit lower. I think he was in the low to mid 20s for the fly ball, which is important. Last year, through 171 innings, as you said, he had a 13-10 record. That was up in the other stuff. But his strikeout rate is up there too. Well, where the hell's the strikeout rate? I think it was in the 30s. Where the hell is it? K rate right there. I'm sorry, 28.2. Yes, that's fantastic. Guy's a strikeout pitcher. There's no doubt about it. So that's how he's going to get his outs. He's going to get his outs by striking guys out, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
So the problem again goes down to the bottom line, Eric. If you're going to pick up a guy that you want 200 strikeouts, which would be lovely. Again, I think this, and I don't want to rain and pee on everybody's parade here, but the topic of the night should be, do we even have enough to get deals done if you exclude our future?
What's our future?
You know who I'm talking about. If you trade Eldridge, I mean, he is, and again, I just maintain that there's no coming back from trading. If you trade him and he goes on to an all-star career, there ain't no coming back from that, Eric.
You know what?
And why are we so excited about just like this complete, like we're doing a complete, we need all these pieces in 1 year. Why can we not look ahead to like 27, 28, Eric? Why is this guy done now?
Why?
Hold Eldridge.
Hold on. Hold on. I will tell you why. Because Santa Claus, where the hell is it? Where the hell did he go? Is this it? That ain't it.
Well, I was hoping you would tell us. I wanted to see what Lou had to say about it too, because I think Lou's going to agree with me. I think Lou will agree with me that when we talk about trades, there are going to be a lot of other suitors who have a lot more to offer.
I'll tell you something. Nobody has a Bryce Eldridge that they could trade. Nobody. You You want to look at the top 100? Take a
That's
look
why
at the
they
top
all
100.
want him, Eric.
Exactly. So
why would you
don't
ever
use
deal?
it?
Why
wouldn't you use
I
it?
don't know. Eric,
Why
you're
not?
like, everybody
Why not?
wants him. Let's make a big deal.
Hell yes.
I'm the other side
Hell
of the
yes.
coin. If everybody wants him, then I'm just holding on to him. What do you think, Lou?
Hey, Lou, let me ask you this question. If you had a chance to trade Joey Bart, would you have traded Joey Bart when he was at the height of his powers with the prospect ratings? What you know now?
Yes, I would do the same thing with Eldridge because we don't know. Plus,
Exactly.
the Giants' reputation over the last 10 years as a new superstar have been a disaster. I haven't been right about any of their people coming up in the last 10 years. And if you say, well, Lou, Ramos, Matos, and all them, Ramos only came up for one reason, because of an injury to Lee. You know, he would probably still be in the minors. You know, and everyone talking about Matos, we have to do something because we can't hang him up. You know, I'm sick and tired of people like Susan and all them saying how great he is. If he's so great, why didn't he play last year? You know, you talk about some of the pitchers we might want to trade. Okay. Again, I love it, but we have guys that couldn't make it with us. Why would another team want some of these guys unless it's someone like Minnesota who's cheap? Minnesota wanted to do this 2 years ago, but unfortunately their team played beyond their record, and they were in it last year, so they had to do it. Tell you the truth, if you look at it, I would only try to get one guy from Minnesota, and that's Byron. I don't think any of these other guys are that good. Now, Joe Ryan, I look at it this way. I think we'd have to give up a lot because if you remember, he was probably the one or two most pitcher that everybody wanted last year at a necessity at the trade deadline. They wanted a lot more. But now all of a sudden, in the offseason, he's now become a better pitcher than he did last year. I think last year was more of a fluke because if you look at it, did you even know who Joe Ryan was 2 years ago?
Nope.
No, nobody knew about him, and he's cheap. So as you brought up, Eric, you're going to have to bring up more. I think, Glenn, you brought up a great point about the Giants. If we're going to get...
I'd like to know what it is, Lou. Tell me.
He's just lagging up a little bit, that's all. Got a little bit of lag there, Lou. All right, well, he comes back.
Lou's interested in Byron Buxton, Eric. My concern with Byron Buxton, he's a guy I don't want. I don't want Brian because look at this. You know me, I'm a guy with the numbers. So you're telling me that Byron Buxton launched 35 home runs last year?
He did, yes. In how many games?
And only got 83 RBIs out of it? So with
not his fault.
With a runner on for every one of those home runs, it leaves him with what?
Who's getting on
like
ahead of him?
8 RBIs? The math doesn't work on Byron Buxton for me, Eric. And if you want to add Buxton, I think then again, it goes against the grain of what I have expected them to do for many years is get away. If you want to add Buxton? Well, then you're going to have to get rid of some guys who with pop, add some players who get hits and can run, and you got to have a balanced attack. What are we building a whole team? The guys who hit me? Is Buster sitting there saying, I want guys minimum 35 home runs each? That ain't going to work, Eric.
True.
And what was it? 148 Ks for Buxton in his 126 games last year. I think he's an all or nothing kind of guy.
Yeah,
and I think we got a few of those.
That's fair. No, that's 100% fair. And this is the deal. The deal with Buxton, he's a fantastic player when he's on the field. But here's the problem. He tends to be injured a lot, and that's a problem. Okay? 100% a problem. Now, does it fix part of the problem with the San Francisco Giants? Maybe. His defense a little bit better than probably than Ramos, but you know what he has? He hits for average, right? He has some power. And guess what? He can run like the wind. So again, it brings a different dynamic to the Giants that they haven't had with other players. And again, look, would you be okay? What if the Giants said, we'll trade you Ramos and Wisenhunt for Pablo Lopez and Buxton? Would you do that?
Who was it again? I'm reading the chat, sorry.
Pablo and Buxton for Ramos and Wisenhunt. Would you do that?
Yes.
Yeah, I would do that. 100%. Right.
Yes.
Right.
I would do that.
Eldridge. Nah, I don't know if I want to do Eldridge. I don't think Eldridge is the play for any of the Minnesota guys, to be honest with you. You're going to have to save Eldridge for something else.
So Insane's already arguing with me. He goes, "What are you talking about, Glenn? Have you ever heard of the Bronx Bombers? Eric. We are nowhere near the Bronx Bombers.
No,
I am sorry to tell you.
No.
My God.
No.
But the problem again, Eric, is I think this team, you're talking about making trades. The problem is I think we're in the lower echelon of the league of available. Buster Posey's going to have to get creative and do one of those Jeff Kent types. We're going to have to trade. We're going to have to pick up the phone one morning when we wake up and go, holy crap, we traded Ramos, Adamos, and our catcher Bailey. It's going to have to be a big one, Eric, because I don't think we have the dominoes to make this thing work in the offseason. And the problem being, free agency's been a tough row to hoe for us. So I don't know how we're going to improve. That's why I've only got us getting Scherzer and Gleyber Torres in the offseason. I think it's going to be a bad offseason for the Giants.
Yes, I do, Paul Fong. I do have. You want to take a look at it? Here, let's take a look at it.
I guess Lou didn't like our takes.
I think his internet's
yeah.
It's been a little cranky. It was cranky the other night.
I'm cranky every night, Eric, but I'm still when I'm in town.
Oh, gosh dang it, I have to do it through Google.
I want to reach out. We won't have him on. I mean, we don't have to have him on, but I want to ask, the guy with the stats, the guy who brings it. I said he was with us the other night, Armand. Armand follows, the
Send him out the link. If he wants to come on, bring him on. We could have him on with Lou.
Armand, you tell me what you think the Giants could do as far as a trade. Do you agree with me, Armand? We don't have enough dominoes, and it's tough to get free agents here. That's the bottom line. I think the key to this whole Eric, Buster Posey's got to be creative.
And I think he's going to be.
Got to be creative.
I'm telling you, I think
and he's got to throw a surprise. He's going to become the high-end type. He's going to throw a curveball right by us. If he makes a deal, it's got to be a curveball that we're not expecting.
Yeah.
Bailey, Ramos.
And is this the one I wanted? I think
we could improve a catcher. I've always said that, Eric. There are catchers out there. We get that kid from Baltimore that they're not so. They got two good catchers now in Baltimore. I'd take either.
I think they're going to stay on.
Adley Rutschman. I'd take Rutschman over Bailey. Can't get that deal signed quick enough. Well, let's give another shout out to Lou. Lou, you there?
Let me see.
No. Lou, Eric, I added him to the stage and
there he is.
There.
Oh,
he's not there.
Hey, hold on. Let's see. When he starts moving, then we'll bring him back in.
All right. That's two strikes in baseball, Eric. 2 strikes.
Actually, we're gonna have to add somebody else. I don't know who we're gonna have to add to that. It's a little bit off. Who would you add here? Let's take a look at this, guys. Here, let me share this. Tell me what you guys think.
Armand's putting the thinking cap. He gets give me a second.
He's got to get all his stuff ready. Well, there you go. Check this out. This is the trade. All right. The trade value for Buxton and Lopez is 35. For the Giants is 27. So you're going to probably have to sweeten the pot. Who would you sweeten the pot with? Say you add a third person in there. Who would be the third person? You just got to get another. What is that? 8 points of value. And again, what do they factor in this? They factor in a lot of things. They factor in the length of the contract, how many years of controllability, all that stuff. So, and of course, the value of the player. So, I
think if you want to, you got to. If you're posing, you want to get that deal done, and those are your objectives. 2 for 2 and you got to add somebody. Luciano's not helping us, man, and I can't see anybody lining up to trade for him. And if you got to throw him in, I'd do that.
How about Matos? There you go. That's perfect.
I think that would be a good deal.
How about that?
That'd be a good deal for Minnesota, Eric. They're giving up a lot, but they're getting potential.
They're getting potential, yeah. But look, Luis Matos isn't part of the future here. He's not. Come on, let's be real. And it's nothing against Matos. No, Luciano is in the same boat. You know who else is in the same boat? Encarnacion. He's going to have to either be on the roster or he's going to have to be shipped off. So, or just released. So there you go. That gets it done. 35-36.
Dude, this team's going to give me a headache
Now-
this offseason
now
trying
here
to
you
figure
go.
out how
Now-
they're going to put this lineup together.
Now, what do you have here? What do you have? Now you got Byron Buxton, you got Pablo Lopez. You know what else you go do? Okay. And now don't forget, you're going to have to add on their salary. They're going to have to add on the salary of Byron Buxton and Pablo Lopez. Okay. Now, what else you could do is you could go out there and go sign a Harrison Bader. So now you got an outfield of Buxton, Jung-Hoo Lee, and Harrison Bader. That's a pretty good outfield.
But look at that. I have it in my notes. How do you get by this no trade deal?
Yes, and that's the thing.
Buxton don't want to come here? He ain't coming here.
Yeah, and that's true. And look, Buster Posey's going to have to do a hell of a sale job. There's no doubt about it. But if he sees that the Giants are doing this, hey, you're being pretty serious. If you're going to go out there and trade for a Pablo Lopez and you're trading, and then you're also going to add on Harrison Bader, and maybe you go out there and you add a second baseman somewhere. I don't know. And now you're putting together a better team than it was last year. Are you competing with the Dodgers, so to speak? Not really. I mean, it's going to be tough.
No disrespect intended.
No.
I think this exercise really doesn't get started when you don't. If you're another general manager, you're a general manager, say pick a team, Minnesota. You think you're dealing with the Giants? No, there are bigger fish to fry for the Twins. There are better prospects. There's better talent, Eric. And unless we trade Eldridge, I think this will be a sloppy little offseason. We're a 500 team again next year.
I don't know. We don't know yet. We don't
Mark
know
it
yet.
down.
Hey, there he is.
Mark it
What's
down.
up, Armand? What's up, Armand?
Hey, Eric. Hey, Glenn.
Hey,
So
buddy.
what say you, Armand? You think the Giants could get a deal? Look, and I'm just saying this is an option. I'm not saying this is the only option, but this is an option.
Buxton is going to be the tough one because he has a no trade clause.
That's the no trade, correct?
And I think he's going to have a list of teams he'd be willing to go to.
I would agree.
I would assume the Dodgers would be on top of that list. I would say the Phillies.
Yep.
I think he would consider the Mets because the Mets did call up the Twins during the All-Star break about him, even though at the All-Star game he came out and said he wanted to be a Twin for life. But obviously, trading away 40% of your Major League roster at the deadline, 11 players in total, and if you trade away one of or both of, he might just change his mind. And I did say that. I've been telling that to people after the trade deadline. I said, don't be surprised if this offseason, if Buxton or the ownership decides to go to him and try to get him to waive his no-trade clause. I think Pablo Lopez would be the easier one for you guys to acquire because he is gonna be a salary dump. That's what the Twins want to do. Because I can say this for a fact that Derek Falvey, the Pobo, even though he is saying he wants to build around those three, he doesn't even know what his budget is.
Right. That's what they were saying.
And it's what I've always said is it comes down to the owners. If they tell him he has to trade all three, he has to trade all three. Do I think all three get traded in the offseason? No, but I do think all three get traded at some point this year. Maybe one gets traded in the offseason, the other two get traded at the deadline.
Do you agree with Eric that this could get done, or are you leaning toward me that we don't have the resources?
I think you could get Pablo Lopez. So I do think the Giants could get a deal done with Minnesota. Joe Ryan is going to get them the most value because he has 2 years of control and he not have money like Buxton does and Pablo Lopez does.
I like Lopez numbers, and he has, what did you say, Eric? 2 years controllability?
2 years. 2 years at $21 million a year.
2 years at $21 a year. Yeah.
So we got to compete against other teams. That's the problem. And I don't want to be Mr. Negative all the time.
Because how many teams are going to absorb that $21 million though? That's a little bit out there. The Giants can afford it. That's the thing. Giants have the freaking money. That's
all right.
Where
the Giants can afford it, Eric.
Yes.
But again, you and I are on flip sides of the coin lately.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay.
But on the other side of that coin, have the Giants proven to you on a continuous basis of any sort that they're willing to spend and eat up money? Now, of course, they had to absorb the big contract with Boston.
Yeah.
But how? I mean, is that
They
a
spent
one-off?
180
You think they're
million.
just going to start like a team that that doesn't spend money all of a sudden is going to be tossing around money
Well,
like
see?
it?
Okay,
like-
there we go. The Giants
playing
are willing
Monopoly?
to spend. Right? The Giants are willing to spend. They spent 150 million on Chapman to extend him. They spent 180 million on Adames, and they took up almost 300 million dollars worth of the contract of Rafi Devers.
So when does ownership say, "Whoa, whoa, whoa"?
Well, we'll see. Because look, they're right now they're under the CBT. So there's a possibility there that they could go out there and still spend some money to make the team. If you want to compete, look, if the Giants want to do anything, they're going to have to add to the roster. It's great to have Devers. It's great to have Adames, but they're going to have to add others, especially on the pitching side. Real quick, let me hit this super chat. $2. Thanks, Fuji. Buxton is from Georgia, so the Braves might be an option. Maybe.
Braves are always an option.
Yeah,
Braves,
of course. He's from Georgia.
Phillies,
Yeah,
Mets,
he's from Georgia.
Yankees. See, those teams don't. If they spend money, Eric, it doesn't surprise anyone. If we spend money, now that is a bit of an eye opener.
Well, the Braves are surprising because they didn't spend money last year, and
they didn't.
So you think they'd be willing to?
Well, their main person that Major League Baseball, they need one guy to be the person if you're a group. So the main person that's known as like the owner, like the main person, he says he wants to have a top 5 payroll this year. Now, that can take a lot of ways. That doesn't mean he wants a top 5 payroll from the start of the offseason, because he could build up that top 5 payroll in the season as long as the Braves are a contender in the playoff race and they make trades at the deadline and add on money at that time. But yes, I think Buxton would waive it to go back home to Georgia.
That makes sense.
I agree with Postman too. I think they're going to sign a Japanese pitcher, Eric.
Think so?
I
don't think that's the way to go. For me,
I think they will, and they'll get him at a decent price. They'll have him for a longer contract. So I think
if you're going to have a long-term contract, wouldn't you want to go after someone a little bit more, I don't know, seasoned? If you're going to, okay, for example, how much is it going to take you to get Amai? How much is that going to cost? What's that contract going to look like?
I would say because he's 27, you're looking at 6 or 7 years. You could probably get him at the range of, I'd say 20. What the qualifying offer is now, 22 to 25 million.
22?
I said 22. So
22 to 25 million a year, 7 years. Well, he's getting 7 years because of his age, because of being.
So
27.
you're talking $150 million. You're talking. You want to spend $150 million on MI when you could spend $150 on a Ranger Suarez? You could spend $200 million on maybe a Framber Valdez.
I couldn't get you for $100.
But those two guys are older than him.
They are. But they
also
also have major league experience and they know what it's like to pitch in the major leagues. It's different, guys, right? Look, he could come over here and just absolutely mow him down. He could be a Yamamoto, right? Or he could be a Senga, an Imanaga. What happened to those guys, right? They did. One of them got
Senga after his first year has been injury riddled.
Well, there you go. It's MLB is a different workload, and if you can't hack the workload of the MLB, well, you're going to have problems. Same thing. Look at what happened with Imanaga, right? The Cubs are letting him go. If they believed in him, they would have kept him and picked up his option, but they didn't.
That's because their ownership.
So there is risk involved. Look, there's risk involved in every long-term. If you're going to deal out a 5-year contract for anybody, whether it's pitcher or player, you're inheriting a level of risk
at any age. Because look at how many
age.
Even the prospects that get long, like Tatis, after he won Rookie of the Year, he got that 14-year deal.
And Eric, you know, under Farhan, that was a problem too, Eric. You don't reach the finish line when you're dealing with these contracts and saying, well, we want you for 2. Well,
you're not. You're going to
scrambling out of here.
You're getting nobody. You're going to get a Stripling. You're going to get a DeSclafani. You're going to get a
Verlander.
Look, you could get a Rodon if a Rodon type of player would be a guy who's coming off of injury who wants to boost his market. He signs a 3-year deal with an opt-out every 3 years, and guess what? He's gone after the first year. If you want to do that, how is that putting together a team? It's not.
Hey, you know what? Don't want to be rude here. I thought he was going to take a break here looking for his wig or something, but let's just say hi to Marcus.
What's up, Marcus?
Marcus looks like he got the high and tight haircut there.
No, just wearing my.
That is pretty. Hey, dude, that is pretty high and tight.
Hey, there we go. We're going backwards hat day today. But
Flip it around there.
oh man, dude, I tell you.
What are your thoughts, Marcus?
Marcus, would you like any of the Minnesota Twins play? Any of them?
Yeah, no, I mean, there were a lot of great players. Okay, there are 3 really great players in the Minnesota Twins of varying degrees of greatness. But the thing that people always bring up with Byron Buxton is that he's always injured, and I think
true
the culture
There's
that the
validity
Giants have,
to that.
the culture that the Giants have really is like trying to get guys that are going to play 162. And like that's kind of the team that Buster's trying to build. And I don't know if I want to take a stab at as great as Byron Buxton is. He is on base a lot. He can hit for power. He's a great defender, but he's going to play 100 games or whatever. I don't know if that's
right.
what I'm.
That's fair. That's fair. I get it. So you would think the starting pitching is the route to go.
If we were going to trade for, Joe Ryan or Pablo Lopez, that would be totally fine. But I sort of think that we can leverage our money. We can leverage our money and go out on the free agent market and get deals done. And if we are going to trade, I feel like we should be trading from our, sort of questionable, like starting pitching depth, in that like we have all these starting pitchers who are like SP5s that need time in the minor leagues to develop. We have Tidwell, we have Kaiwei Tang, we have Wisenhunt, we have
Birdsong.
you know what I mean? Like we have all these guys.
And that's good. You need that depth in a season. You really do. Those guys need to be locked and loaded in AAA, getting innings. So when one of the rotation guys go down, you got a guy coming up. You have to have
we need like a couple of them, 2, 3 of them, but we're kind of they're hitting their window of like when they're going to be good in the next few years. And if we're going to mobilize our capital and sign these long-term contracts for people like Framber, for people like Imai, who I do quite like, by the way, even though he doesn't have major league experience, you gotta move him or move him or lose him.
That's fair.
And so,
okay. Man, I've been chomping at the bit. I'm trying to resist going this route because would you ever trade Bryce Eldridge, Marcus?
Totally. I mean, here's the thing. It's your job. I'm not a manager. Yep. I'm not a president of baseball operations, but your due diligence is to hear every offer.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if you love the guy, if he's the best man at your wedding. Like you got to hear the offers out there.
Fair.
And as much as I'm excited to see Eldridge perform at the major league level, he's also in combination with Devers blocking one of the landing spots for a lot of these sluggers that will deteriorate defensively. Mm-hmm. So, I think if the deal's right and Eldridge can get us, a great outfielder, if he can get us,
would you trade him for a Quan? Or would you go higher?
I haven't looked at the numbers. I haven't looked at the numbers on like if Quan is better. But I'd be willing to deal with Cleveland for Quan.
Would it cost you an Eldridge, or do you think it would cost? And that's another thing. Instead of going with
Quan has 2 years left? 1 year left?
He has 2 years left. But the thing is they have Kyle Manzardo, who's a first baseman.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't think Quan is going to cost you.
They don't really have a
Eldridge.
DH though, right? So,
they got Noel called Big Christmas.
Yeah, Big Christmas.
Yeah, they did, but
corner outfield.
every team now, unless you have a DH like a Devers on your team, a lot of teams want that DH. They want that DH spot open and rotate it through players.
But I think like even though the Guardians do have Manzardo,
they might ask you for like the guys you said for the fifth rotation spot, like a Wizenhunt.
Yeah,
maybe like a package of pitching for them.
And we can also, hand them over Ramos as a, in a combination.
Or hey, send him Matos.
Yeah, exactly.
Luciano.
There's basically, we have a wealth of guys that would make the bottom end of a lot of major league rosters.
Right.
Not every team out there has that depth of the 26 men.
Well, Marcus, you're talking about guys like Matos, these kind of guys.
Wizenhunt would be Wizenhunt, and I don't know who else you would throw in there.
I don't take that approach. When you say they're guys who could be dealt, you bring them in, bottom of your lineup kind of guys. They're not bottom of the lineup kind of guys on a sub 500 team, a 500 baseball club. I don't think it's going to be tough to deal. Matos, Luciano. We don't have
those are just going to be like sweeteners. They're going to be like your sweeteners. That's what they're going to be.
Well, then who are the big dogs? Who are we trading? It's got to be Eldridge or nothing, Eric.
Eldridge is the guy. I'm telling you, Eldridge is the guy.
To me, here's the thing: is that a lot of these major league teams that are in the bottom half of payroll in baseball, they do look for these guys who are going to be under lots of team control and can fill in the spots for really cheap. And if they can, fill out their roster with these guys, they will. And that's just the economics of these income share teams, is that they will trade, their guys that made it to the big leagues in exchange for a haul of prospects or, role players who can fill out their roster so they don't have to spend it on in free agency. I mean, I saw this crazy stat that the last multi-year deal that the Pirates have offered a position player was in 2015.
Ivan Nova, starting pitcher, 2-year deal. That was the last time they were close to
the
Pirates never had $100 million payroll. The closest was that year at $99 million.
So there are a lot of teams like this out there that are looking for these guys that can, play at the big league level, but not exceptionally, and maybe you take a flyer on their potential.
But here's the thing. I see what you're saying. But here's the thing. Giants, to a certain extent, have to get a couple of big names, right? They have to. That's where the Giants are right now. If you want to compete in this division and in this league, talking about the National League, you're gonna have to make two big pieces, and then if you want to add on after that, you have to get a starting position. You got to get an arm. You got to get a bat. Period. Now, I'm gonna paint a little picture here, guys, and I've talked about this before. Talking about Bryce Eldridge, Buster Posey. What has he said? The type of player that he wants on the roster. Wants a guy. Makes contact, doesn't strike out a lot, plays good defense. Okay. Does Bryce Eldridge fulfill any of those potentials? The defense is kind of there, but is he a high contact and is he a low strikeout guy?
No, I mean
he's not.
The projection.
Come on, he's not that. Right. He is not the quote unquote player that Buster Posey envisions. What did Buster Posey do at the trade deadline and at the draft? He picked up guys who are what? High contact, low strikeout guys. Those are the guys. So he's not out there just yapping. He's practicing what he preaches. He's out there getting the guys that he says that he wants. Second thing, what happened in June? Something big happened for the club in June. You traded for Rafi Devers. And what do you think? Do you think Rafi Devers was just going to come here and just DH and that's it? No. He came here for a reason. And I think the reason is going to be first base. So you put all these together. Does Buster Posey value Eldridge the same way that some of us do? Right? I don't think he does. I think he's willing. And he said this at the trade deadline. Are there untouchables? No, there's not. He said that Bryce Eldridge is not an untouchable. I think he said Wizenhunt is not an untouchable. And have you ever heard him come out and say, yeah, he's going to be a great Giant? No, you know what he come out and say? He comes out and says he's going to be a great player. He's young. He could be something, but he never said anything about being a future Giant. So let's start piecing things together. At the GM meetings, who was at the GM meetings for the San Francisco Giants? Did you see Zach Manasian making any comments to the MLB? You know who was at the GM meetings? It was Buster Posey. Buster Posey has got the bull by the horns, and I got a feeling that he's trying to figure something out. 100%, he is trying to figure something out. And what is it going to be? I have no idea. We could all speculate. We could all speculate. And it's going to be interesting. And here, let me get your guys' opinion on this. Did any of you, and I think I talked to you about this, Armand and Glenn, on Friday, did you guys find it strange that Tarik Skubal was in Las Vegas at the GM meetings? Why would a player be at the GM meetings? He's 1 year under control under Detroit. There's no reason for him to be at the GM meetings. So why was he at the GM meetings? Do you not think that maybe he's talking to clubs? Maybe he's talking to clubs and saying,
his agent was there, Mr. Boris.
Yeah. So the agent makes sense, right? But why would the player be there? Why would he be at the GM meetings? Maybe he's talking to clubs. Maybe he's saying, hey guys, if you trade for me, I will sign an extension. Basically what he's going to do is he's fast forwarding his free agent year. So what he's doing, he's helping Detroit get players back, but at the same time, he's going to get paid. So there is a potential there that where maybe he's trying, whether or not it's going to work out or not, that's a whole different situation. But why would the player be at the GM meetings if he's already under contract? I got a feeling they're working on something.
David said it too. He was also there to get an award. Because there was
why? Was Shohei there? Was Judge there? Right? Was Skeens there? No, none of them were in Las Vegas. They were all at home. No one is at Las Vegas doing that stuff.
Yeah, there were a few players, but like
I know Framber was there, but Framber's trying to rehabilitate his image because of his shenanigans during the year. Yeah. But I find this quite interesting to see where this goes. I mean, again, maybe it goes somewhere, maybe it doesn't. And here's another thing. This is not outside the realm. What happened last year? Remember when Garrett Crochet was traded to the Boston Red Sox? What did the Boston Red Sox do immediately after they signed him or traded for him? They signed him to an extension. So it's not out of the realm of the possibility. Not out of the realm. And here's another thing.
I agree with David. You're thinking too much tonight.
Hey, that's fine. It's fine.
Going to cost the Kings.
According to David, we all overthink this. We all overthink what's said at the GM meetings.
Only November.
Yeah.
Like the Tigers coming out and saying they're not trading Skubal. It's just to say that now.
It's the same face. It's saving face.
Come to winter meetings. You're going to see stuff. Oh, Skubal's, they're listening on Skubal. Yep. Skubal's going to get traded. It's going to change from now till December 15th.
Here's what I think is going to happen, Eric.
Let's hear it.
Armand. I think that a deal gets done. He goes to the Dodgers. They do the same thing before the new agreement.
Don't say that, dude.
Before the new CBA, if we ever see a new CBA.
Glenn, who's out of the rotation?
I think he go. You worry about that later.
You know what I think? You know what I think
exactly. If you're the Armand, if you're the New York Mets and you can get him, you're going to worry about who. You make room for the guy.
I know you do. You give him DePaula, right? They're was it the number 13th prospect? I think he's right behind. Right? Is he right behind Eldridge? I think he's right behind Eldridge.
Get it done.
And you know who you added that? You know who you add to that package? Roki Sasaki. You had Roki Sasaki to that. Plus, I guarantee you that will get it.
And who's your closer, Eric? Again, Eric, you can't always rob Peter to pay Paul. If they're liking him in a late or a closer role, you can't be just trading off all these pieces and now we got this and then got to go fill. They got no closer at all. They're like us, Eric.
Come on, this is the Dodgers. They're going to go pay freaking Edwin Diaz.
Watch it, Edwin. Watch it. Dude, leave my Edwin alone.
That's what's going to happen. No, because we're talking about the Dodgers. If the Dodgers trade for Skubal, they're getting a closer. That's guaranteed, man.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see. And another thing, you got to take advantage of deferrals. This is it, man. Guys, this is This may be the last year. I said this on Friday. This may be the last year you could get these massive deferrals, and the Giants need to be in on that. And if they can't be, well, then they're just.
Eric's not going to like what I say. I don't think the Dodgers are going to trade for Skubal. They have so much starting pitching, especially young starting pitching come back from injury. But they are going to trade for Stephen Kwan.
Who is
Really?
The Dodgers.
They might.
See, I think any team. I don't think Dodgers, Mets, Giants, Blue Jays, Phillies, you name Marlins. If you tomorrow can get him, you get him and worry about those ramifications afterwards once you have him. So to say the Dodgers, they won't, I think you worry, like Eric, you said. Give him whoever. You got to get the guy.
Got to get the guy.
Got to get the guy. Every team.
I'm going to tell you something right now. And here we go. Real quick. BC, look at Mad Bum, Giants over. BC, you're wrong. You got to follow the Giants to understand what happened to Madison Bumgarner. After he got in that motorcycle accident, he was never the same. That was the problem. Not overuse.
Pitching.
He got in a motorcycle accident, and he was never the same after that motorcycle accident. He busted up his shoulder, and the guy just wasn't the same.
Don't you agree, Marcus? If any team in baseball needs pitching, San Francisco Giants, front end, back end. We were last year bitching him, or I was anyway. Verlander. And now all the talk is Max freaking Scherzer. This is ugly.
Here's the thing. And I sent a message to Eric about this. There's the upcoming free agent class, not this year, but next year, that has Tarek Skubal, that has Jesus Luzardo, that has, a wealth of other great pitchers. And I think that
I think Skubal comes off the board to this year. I think he gets traded. I think he gets traded. I do. I think he's going to.
I don't think kind of a middle class, and that's what Detroit is, mid tier. I don't think they're just letting him. They're not like
they got to get something in return.
Something.
They got to get something in return. That's what I'm saying. They're not going to just let him go because look, he's.
Yep.
If you wait until the trade deadline next year, you're not going to get as much back as you would this year. You're not.
They have a good core of players. They made the playoffs. They can.
Their issue is they have a cheap owner.
Yeah.
They have.
They're going to lose
the
them.
best pitcher in baseball for one more year, and if they don't try before the deadline,
they can't just get back.
The fans will never forgive them. The fans will never forgive them.
The fans are not going to forgive him if they pitch him this year and let him go and get a qualifying draft.
There's no chance. The Tigers, if they trade Skubal, have no chance of making the playoffs. None.
Yes, they do. The American League Central is not that strong. Outside of the Guardians,
that's it.
The Royals are up and down.
The
White Sox suck.
The Royals have one of the most exciting teams in baseball.
But they're up and down.
Michael Garcia, they have Castrantino. They have a great rotation. They have
they're trading from that. They're trading from that rotation.
They want to trade.
Yeah, that rotation's going to get beat up this offseason.
They want to trade Bubic.
In fact, Bubic is the guy I think we should be getting. Bubic.
The Royals are not that far from being a real contending team. And
yeah, they get Yastrzemski. That'll work. I don't think
Yastrzemski played great for them. If you look at the number, he played great for the Royals.
Yeah, he did. But is that the guy they're building with?
Here's the question though: how long until Bobby Witt is gone? I know he signed that big extension, but he has opt-outs in there. And when he could have that first opt-out, that they will trade him. He's gone.
Asking like a real deep philosophical, psychological question here with Bobby Witt. I mean, if the Royals,
and then he'll be a Dodger. I
tell you something right now. If the Dodgers get Tarek Skubal, I'm gonna lose my shit.
I don't think it's happening. I think
it's Ohtani, Snell, Glasnow, Yamamoto, Sasaki's going back in the rotation. They
don't need him. Really, they don't.
Then they got like Sheehan, who was in the bullpen, who's a young starter. River Ryan coming back. Like they got young arms. Like they are so deep.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing. I mean, okay, back to the Giants. The first things first is that we need like 2 starters and 3 bullpen arms. Like
bullpen arms are cheap. You could get. They already picked the guy up today for a spring training invite. You could go out there and get armed. The thing you need to get though, you need to get a closer. The Giants need a closer, right?
We need, but
you need a starting pitcher, you need a bat, and you need a closer. You need three at the minimum. At the minimum.
Before we even like talk about a bat, like I think it's like we need the 2 starting pitchers, and we need a closer, and we need a setup guy. Like before we talk about anyone swinging the bat anywhere, like we need pitchers.
Okay. What would you think about this? Crazy idea. If it's a big if. Listen to me, guys. Big if. Hold on. Let me do this first. Let me get this out of the way first, and then we'll keep going. Hold on.
As I said before, we're most definitely open to trying to add some arms that we think are going to help us on the starting side.
All right, here we go. Here we go, baby. Listen to what I have to say here. If they could for somehow be able to pick up Skubal, right, in a trade, how would you feel if the Giants went Skubal, Harrison Bader, say Hassan Kim at second base, and then you get a closer? You're going big on starting pitcher, you're getting a closer, and then you're solidifying your defense. How would you think the Giants would do?
Yeah.
And let's not forget, we're talking about Skubal, and who would know better than Buster Posey, right? Come on, who would know better than Buster Posey? He went out there last year and traded for freaking Devers. He's not afraid to go out there. Of course, you're going to have to get rid of Eldridge, and you're going to have to drop a bunch of money, but it's money. That's it, man. Who gives a shit? You can make that money back. You know how many number 29 jerseys will be in freaking Oracle Park if you signed Tarek Skubal? You know how many? It'd be absolutely insane. It's not going to be at the Ohtani level, don't get me wrong, but he's going to be selling you some damn merch, and more importantly, he's going to be winning you some damn games. I would absolutely – you have the guy. The one thing that the Giants have, they have the guy. Here, I'm going to look at something here. Go ahead. You guys talk amongst yourselves. What do you think?
Who's the closer, Eric? Who's the closer you're signing? Outside of Edwin Diaz, you got Fairbanks, you got Iglesias.
Fairbanks can't play here. He has
Helsley.
Fairbanks has like a nerve disorder that makes
it makes his hands cold or some shit. Yeah.
Pagan, Marcelo Iglesias, Kenley Jansen
has great stuff that plays really well in our park. I think I like Devin Williams, even though he had an off year. His underlying stuff looked really good. And then yeah, like I don't know. It's hard because you want to. There's these guys who are kind of like disgraced closers, like Raisel Iglesias and Kyle Finnegan and guys
Hunter
like that.
Harvey.
Yeah, like who are just. You can have him in your bullpen and start him out as a closer, but be willing to, you're paying them low enough that
Devin Williams, but I think he might be a little bit more. I don't know. The Giants are going to have to figure this one out, right? And look, if it means you go over the CBT, so be it. Look, it's not our money, and it's not my decision to make, right? But if you want to compete, that's what you got to get freaking bold, and he got bold last year. We can all sit there and say Buster Posey was bold last year. So why would he stop now?
But but
you have to have that extension. The extension has to be included in the trade. It cannot be. And the Giants can't be afraid. You got to drop $400 million on this guy and you defer it. You figure it out, man. Give him a freaking $20 million signing bonus. right? Do you defer a percentage of it? So then maybe you're only paying $20 million a year or $25 million a year rather than 40 over 10. I mean, there's a way. You got to be creative. We got a freaking investor as a freaking primary owner. Figure the shit out.
Yeah, but Eric, you also got to take into consideration every time we talk about deferrals, the players got to agree to a deferral.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Yes.
That's the problem, too.
But if Shohei, I mean, then look, not everyone's Shohei. Hey, but you know what? You know why Shohei did it? Why did Shohei defer that money? What was the reason?
He
wanted to win.
money.
He wanted to win. So if you got Tariq Skubal, if he wants to go out there and win, and he sees that Buster Posey is putting together a hell of a roster, well, then go out there and you freaking get that shit done. Pay the man, because in 2 years, that contract's going to be freaking pennies.
Well, let me ask you this, Eric. If you're Skubal and you want to win and make a lot of money, why aren't the Dodgers top shelf and nobody else?
Because they got so much money spent up in starting pitching right now. So much money.
Doesn't matter. They'll move
so
on
much
from
money.
that.
No, to an extent, yeah, but they got a lot here. And let's talk about this. Watch this. What's it going to take? It's going to take a Bryce Eldridge. Let's go on this. All right. Number one, Connor Griffin, Pittsburgh. Do you think Pittsburgh's going to give Tariq Skubal a long-term contract?
No.
Kevin McGonagall. You think they're going to go? Well, they're not going to give him up. They're on the same team. DeVries, they're not going to give him up. Brewers, are they going to give Tariq Skubal a long-term contract?
No, because they got Freddie Peralta.
No. Okay. St. Louis Cardinals, are they going to give up a bunch of money? Texas Rangers, are they going to give up a bunch of money?
No.
Maybe.
No. Baltimore Orioles.
Texas could.
They're cutting payroll this year.
And plus, Basalo's their future, so they're not getting rid of him.
They signed Basallo to an extension. So
Max Clark is in the organization. Colt Emerson is Seattle. Are they going to spend a bunch of money on Tariq Skubal?
They haven't.
Nope. They're not going to spend $400 million on Tariq Skubal. No way. Walker Jenkins, the Twins, are they going to spend $400 million? No. The Mets, they need McLean in the rotation. They ain't traded him. Bryce Eldridge. Do the Giants? Let's talk about this. Do the Giants absolutely need Bryce Eldridge? Could they go ahead and trade him and be okay for a Tariq Skubal? They got the damn money, man.
Yeah,
they got the freaking money to do this, and
that would work, Eric. That would work, but there's too many factors. I mean, you can't be trading him and have for a 1-year rental guy.
No. You got to sign the extension. You got to. Here, Tariq, $400 million for 10 years.
Yeah, I mean,
come on.
I don't think if
come on,
if the Tigers are willing to play ball and trade us Skubal, I'm thrilled.
And you know what? You throw Eldridge. If you have to throw Ramos, Landon Root, Carson Wisenhunt.
Let's ask Armand. Let's get Armand in. Armand, Eric just threw out the name McLean.
If I'm getting an extension with Skubal,
then McLean is the least of your worries. Bye-bye.
And by the way, Eric,
you really think they'll throw $400 million? You think they'll would?
My owner's worth $23 billion.
That's not
Armand, 3 years ago, how much did they spend? It didn't work, but how much were they willing to spend on starting pitcher 3 seasons ago?
Were they willing to spend that much?
Scherzer,
holy crap.
We paid Scherzer, we paid Verlander.
Hold on, Bill. Who's your GM again? What's his name? The guy from Milwaukee?
Doesn't matter.
He would have a heart attack if they signed Scoop. Last year, and how bad would that look? Last year, you didn't go get a starting pitcher, and then all of a sudden, you're going to go get Skubal. Maybe that's what scared him.
But David Stearns has always said it has to be a difference maker.
And that's what. Hey, you know who else has said that? Greg Johnson. Greg Johnson has said they're willing to pay a contract for the right player. And tell me right now, is there anyone out there with the ability of Tariq Skubal where you can get, I mean, think about it. There's no one out there with his level of skill to get. There isn't.
But Eric, at the end of the day, I don't know how these guys feel. Eric, we're not the Yankees. We're not the Dodgers. We're the Giants. This is a moot point. Again, great conversation point on a Monday, but he ain't going to be a Giant.
But there's a path. The issue I have is there is a way forward. There can be.
For a Giant fan.
No. The Giants as an organization, they could do it. They can.
I'd
They
love to
could.
just before any of the trade, before trying to deplete the coffers of our top prospects, I feel like we really have to explore what money can get us on the free agent market. And I think that there's so much, there's a lot out there and a lot of ways to mobilize our money. And while I'd love to trade for any number of really great players that are going into their contract years, I think seeing what we can get on the free agent market will inform if we, need to make these really drastic moves. Skubal's not signing an extension. The only person who's
He's a Boris guy. Boris
extension
guys
is
don't sign
Boris.
extensions going into the last year of their deals.
The only team with a chance is the Tigers, and they already show they're not going to pay the money.
They're not paying the money. So why would you?
So
Again,
he's not signing it with anyone. He's not. He's
Boris
gonna
will
pass
cut
it
his fingers off before he can grab the pen, Eric.
Boris signed an extension for one of his players.
Yeah, but
And who was it? Who was it?
Matt Chapman is not terrible.
I know that, but I'm saying because Boris doesn't like to do. It doesn't matter who his player is,
and he was with the
doesn't
same
like
team
them.
he was already playing for.
But
I
also
understand
look at how many guys he had going into free agency that year. He had Alonso.
Yep.
He had Soto.
Yep.
So he probably thought to himself, I get Chapman an extension. It's one less guy I got to deal with.
I think that was the ambulance coming for somebody in the chat because they're gonna have a heart attack listening to Eric tonight. Come on, Eric.
Real dilly. Hey, and I'm not opposed to this. Valdez, Jansen, Rogers to set up and bring back Verlander. I'm not opposed to that.
I don't know if I can deal with that much age on a closer.
Whatever. I mean, it's going to have to be a 1-year deal until Rodriguez comes back the following year.
Yeah,
because he's out this year. But in 27, maybe he'll be something.
Let me ask you this.
I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to Valdez.
Marcus, what do you think is going to happen in the offseason in general?
What's up, Dilly?
I think it's going to be I think they sign, and again, it's just because everyone is pointing to Scherzer, which scares the hell out of me.
I think,
and I think they'll get Gleyber
Come
Torres,
on.
and I think that's it. I think it's because it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
I think what's going to happen is they're going to sign one pitcher to a long-term contract, one pitcher to a short-term contract, and then a closer type pitcher to like a 3-year contract. Hopefully they bring back Tyler Rogers. So how many pitchers are out there that you can get on short-term contracts?
Here we go. This is Farhanian. I hate this shit. I do. Because you don't get the players that you're going to need on short term. These are guys who are just kind of middle of the road. And
there's people going into free agency every year. And this year, you don't always want to just lock up everyone in the same free agent
no,
class.
not at all. You need one starting pitcher. If you want to do a 2-year for a number 5, I'm all for. Like
That's
for
what
example,
that's what
Verlander.
Scherzer is.
For Verlander,
That's what Scherzer is. Scherzer is a number 4, number 5 guy.
I'd rather have Verlander than Scherzer.
Yeah,
Chris
I agree.
Bassett.
And you know how much I don't like
Kelly.
Verlander.
Sure. I mean that whatever. Who cares? We're not going to pay them very much money, especially after the years they had, right? So like if we sign them again, they're a year older and they had a worse performance going into the year. They're going to cost us like under $10 million for a 1-year deal. Like who cares?
They'll be double-digit millions. They're not going to take anything single digits.
Scherzer's season was horrible. Like I don't see it with the extra year.
He'll get like 1 year, $12 million.
Not even. I'd say not even 9 top. Right?
He's not going to get single digits.
I think it's
You don't
single
think
digits.
so?
But we don't need to argue.
I think he's lucky to have a job in Major League Baseball.
It's a difference of we're talking about a difference of $3 million a year.
Yeah.
That's nothing. That's nothing. It doesn't matter.
Chris Bassett,
We're gonna
Merrill
sign this
Kelly.
guy to a big pitching contract. It's hopefully going to be Imai personal as far as what I think plays the best in our park. And I don't mind some of the other options. Framber would be great. I wouldn't even mind Dylan Cease or whoever. Ranger Suarez, great. But we're not going to signing multiple of these people doesn't make too much sense. You want to stay flexible so that as free agents or deals come up, you can mobilize your ability to acquire these players. Tarek Skubal's hitting free agency next year. I want the Giants to be able to mobilize their capital to make him that $400 million offer next year when he's going to free agency. Because he is going to free agency, whether the Giants trade for him or not. They're not. I don't think so. But there's him. There's Jesus Luzardo. There's other really great pitchers coming into free agency in the next year that we can spend, and as long as we pay the guys who are going to bridge us in the next year, and every team does this. So it's not some crazy idea, and I would love for us to get Devin Williams. I'd love to bring back Tyler Rogers. There's a lot of pitching that we need to address because we traded from our bullpen depth to acquire these guys that Posey likes, who contact guys or minor leaguers that throw heat that just need some work. And so that fortify the rotation. Then we can talk about, should we sign someone to play second base short term while we check out Gavin Keelan or whoever, the minor leaguers that we have that are shortstop, second base type guys. Do we want to sign an outfielder, or are we going to try to see what we've got with, Drew Gilbert and with, whoever else we have?
No, see, again, we're going down that path of, hey, let's see what we got. I'm tired of seeing 3 years.
We have
3 years.
What was the motto last year in the offseason, Eric? We hope.
Well, here, and this goes to Mr. Postman. It's very similar. Posey is going to get players like Sonny Gray, Cody Ponce, or Japanese pitchers. Rely on young guys like Roop, Seymour, and Birdsong. Buster Posey relied on those young guys last year, and what did it get you? It got you nothing. Birdsong fell off a cliff. Whisenhunt isn't ready. Landon Roop wound up just getting injured. I mean, but when he was on the field, he was good. So where are we? You want to repeat the same thing we did last year and it didn't work? Look, you're going to have to get at least 3 bona fide starting pitchers. You got Webb, you got Ray, right? Well, Ray next year is going to be gone, unless I don't know if you do an extension, but he's probably going to be gone. And then you got 3, 4, and 5, right? I'm okay if you want to put Roop in there. Okay, that's okay. I think he's earned a position in the starting rotation. But what are you going to do with the other starting pitchers? You got to get another arm that's going to replicate somewhat, something like Webb or Ray. But my God, man, you can't. Buster Posey said this over and over: pitching and defense.
But what does he see? Eric, what does he see in Max Scherzer? The only time Max Scherzer's name came up, Eric, was after we signed a new manager.
We don't know.
And of course, is that band of brothers mentality. And I haven't talked to Marcus since. So, Marcus,
we don't know.
I haven't gotten your point of view.
Real
what do you
quick,
think
before
about
you
bringing
get to
in a new manager with no major league experience?
Before we get to there,
all right.
Okay, Hallberg. We all thought Hallberg was going to be the guy for the future, and guess what? He got shipped out. Okay. Vitello is best buds with Max Scherzer. That doesn't mean he's going to be. There's a lot of speculation and stuff. And look, I've said it too. It's probably going to happen, but we don't know. Maybe
don't you think, Eric, if they bring in Scherzer and say Verlander goes back to Houston, if you're replacing Verlander with Scherzer, it's 3 steps backwards, Eric.
Stick with Verlander, man. I mean, that's crazy. But
Scherzer, Eric, what are we talking about? Again, every offseason we get to these guys like last year was Verlander.
I know.
Max Scherzer, and what's my famous line? Is that the best we can get? Come on, Eric.
That's why look, Buster Posey's going to do something, whether it's free agency or a trade. He's going to do something. Maybe it's both.
You said that last offseason.
Well, he did. He got Adames. He extended Chapman. And in June, he traded for Devers. He got shit done last year like I said, with the talent, he got the shit done last year. That's a fact.
In his first year, you can't take all the steps all at once.
You can't.
And the same can be said with this offseason. I think people are looking to do too much damage in this offseason when it's just not reality. I think this is a process, Eric, a process.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, some of the guys you see some of the guys in the chat tonight. If we had this guy, and this guy, well, all 6 of those guys, come on.
Yeah. Hey, I'm okay with 3. I'm okay with
bits
3.
and pieces.
So we'll see.
So, Marcus, what do you think? New manager.
Look, I think
he's afraid.
You guys are old school guys. You like the
Yeah.
major league experience, and I get it. But at the end of the day, being a manager is about, going to the right people for the right advice at the right time and mobilizing people at the right place at the right time. And I think that Tony Vitello is an interesting guy who will bring a new energy to this team that we sorely need. Something is not right with the Giants before this, going into this season, where we have all these guys who are supposedly really talented and have, a lot of skills that, we're not playing up to their potential. And if you look out at who's available to be a manager, do you want to go with some guy like who is mediocre for, a bunch of time, or do you want to take a chance?
What's your definition of mediocre?
Name any of the managers.
Would you say Bob Melvin? And again, I'm just going to use him as mediocre.
Yes. Yeah. He's
Okay.
extremely mediocre. And he just didn't have the right.
What was
energy.
this? Who had a better win percentage in a regular season between Bochy and Bob Melvin?
I mean, yeah, but
I'm just saying.
I wouldn't have wanted Bochy to come back either. I mean, even though he's great.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying. Okay, no, just finish your thought. Go for it.
And I think Tony Vitello is one of the most energizing and winningest college coaches. And at the end of the day, baseball is baseball. And if there's some fundamentals that they need to work on, who better to bring back fundamentals than someone who's working with people in their developmental stages?
Marcus, let me jump in. You say he had a winning? What was his record in college? What was his college record? Wins loss.
That's a good. I don't have the number off the top of my head, but
he's not that good.
Tennessee was a complete garbage organization until Tony Vitello.
Recency bias. He managed 23 years. They made the playoffs his team.
Well, I think it's
3 years and won
I think 23 years though isn't just with Tennessee. I think
no 20. Well, no matter what, Eric, if you're working for me 23 years, Eric, and you got the job done once and only made the playoffs 3 times, that ain't.
No, I think he was only with Tennessee for a few. It wasn't because he was with a whole bunch of other organizations. They're tallying his entire coaching
if you look
timeline from when he was in Missouri to when he was in Arkansas to when he was in Tennessee.
From when he's in charge of Tennessee and got to take the reins of that program, he took that program from being nothing, not a contender, to winning.
How did he do that? No, but let's be honest. How did he do that?
With recruiting and
okay. So why didn't they hire him to be our head scout?
What? Because why would he do that?
That's what he's good at, and building a team. Then why didn't they hire him last year? And he's doing Posey's job.
Managers do take part in that stuff, and he knows.
That's a completely different kettle of fish. He's not sitting at anybody's kitchen table saying, "Here's what I'll do for your son next year, and we'll look after him, and I'll make sure he's not out partying." It's a whole different. This is a different. That's why I think they should have went the route of if they wanted to hire him, then he's a bench coach, and you get somebody with experience.
Like who? Who's out there that would have been worth making the switch from Melvin?
Anybody would be better with experience.
You want freaking Kurt Suzuki? No thanks. Or
Derek Shelton. Hold on, Marcus. Glenn and Eric. Does Derek Shelton have good experience? Because he was the Pirates manager for years. Is that getting good experience? What about Walt Weiss? Was the Rockies manager? Is that good experience?
Yeah, and then
not all experience is good experience.
No, absolutely. No.
Yeah, but I think you're coming in blind. You're coming in blind.
100%.
And again, like Eric said earlier, Eric, they're hoping. Buster's got his fingers and toes crossed. I hope this works.
What I mean by big experience, okay, let me preface this. Does it automatically mean success? No, it doesn't. Period. It doesn't. But you know what it does mean? That's one less thing you have to worry about when you got a brand new manager. That's it. right? Because when you're managing the major leagues, you're going to have some type of a semblance of what's happening, right? And I'm not saying that he's not capable. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if you got a guy, he's learning on the job, and it's not going to be easy. And look, there's going to be depending on where the roster is going to be formed here in this offseason, this could be an absolute dismal
Who is
2026.
Yeah, but Eric,
who is picking Vitello? It's people like Posey, like Dusty Baker, people with lots of experience who see
experience doesn't mean you had to manage 30 freaking years, though.
Look, come on. The special advisors are just that. They're honorary positions, and they're going to just give their 2 cents every so often. Look, and I'm not downplaying their ability. Look, I get it. If Buster Posey wants to pick up the phone call and give Bochy a call in Nashville, Tennessee, then yeah, hey, it's an ear to listen to. If he wants to call Sacramento and talk to Dusty Baker, yes, that's a valued information. They're not going to be in the office next door. They're not going to be in the damn clubhouse with Tony Vitello. It's not going to happen.
What is it that you think like the manager's doing that like?
Well, okay, let's see.
Only people who have managed in the major leagues and not other levels of baseball.
How about this? What if he's never managed a 162 game season? Is that would you say that's something different than what he's used to?
I think sure, but I think I'm more worried.
Would he know what to do?
Right? He's a younger guy. I'm more worried about.
Let me ask this. Okay, let me ask you this. What is Tony Vitello baseball? What is his baseball philosophy? I keep hearing energy, vibes.
Yeah, in other words, why did he get this job?
Hold on. What is Tony Vitello baseball? What does he value? You've heard Buster Posey, pitching, defense, timely hitting. What is he? Is he about pitching time? Or is he about the long ball? Is he about contact? Is he about stealing that extra bag? How is his bullpen management? I don't know. Honestly, we don't know. Can he make that decision when it's?
But do you think
when it's game 162 and you got to win that game? Does he know who he's going to have to go to in that bullpen when it comes time?
And I think these are valid questions, but also like, do you think that these are questions that the people that hired him don't have? It's like, do you think that they didn't work this out with him beforehand, or that these are things that
I don't know.
I don't know. This is a really big move that cost them many, many millions of dollars. And I think one issue with the Giants,
to be exact, right? $10 million.
They're overly cautious a lot of the time. Would you agree? I mean, I feel that way. I feel like they're often overly cautious with how they spend their money. And so I'm taking not just that, like Tony Vitello and his, what he said in interviews and his history with college baseball. I'm taking the fact that the Giants really are unwilling to spend big money to make moves unless they're really sure. Like they really do not like getting burned on overpaying and long-term commitments. And I think that you have really smart people up there. Javier Lopez, brilliant dude. Now, working in the GM office. Buster Posey, again, really sharp guy, very cautious, very careful about who he puts his lot in with. And this is the signing that will really define Posey's time as the president. And I think that's not lost on him. And I think that he made that choice knowing that we are all skeptical and we're all judging him. And if it fails, that we are never going to look upon Posey's presidential run favorably. He knows these things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's very aware. There's no doubt about it.
He's taking his reputation on this guy.
100%.
Which is one of the reasons why I said he cannot afford.
So what do you do? So what do you do?
He can't trade Eldridge.
How do you help Tony Vitello? You got to get some damn good players in this offseason. If you set him, if you set him up for, if you're
the coach can only do so much, right?
Yeah, right. But you're gonna have to go out there and you're gonna have to give him a roster that's gonna go out there and compete. If you give him the same roster you did last year, well, some guys may play him, some guys may play. I don't know if that's exactly. You're gonna have to go
after the
out there
Devers trade. Tony Vitello with the Giants after the Devers trade, maybe we make the playoffs. I mean, that stretch where we went 0-13 or whatever at home.
Yeah,
if we win
15. Yeah.
If we win 4 or 5 of those games, we make the playoffs.
I was just talking about Lou last night. Just the opposite, though. We won what 10 of the first 13. So
Yeah,
what
we
happened? We
played
played
great
500 ball there.
It's back and forth. It goes back. No,
I'm
absolutely.
I'm just saying,
100%.
there's opportunities that we were not. There was times where we were a playoff team last year. Whether
Yes.
however you feel about the Giants' overall season, there was a time where we looked like we had a team that could do it, that really could do it. We were in contention for a long time. Now, obviously, things fell apart. We made a lot of trades that got rid of some key parts. We had some injuries here and there. Some people did not play up to their level. I mean, Lamont Wade Jr. was -1 WAR in
he was ass.
Say
that. He was just ass.
He was horrible. So there's a lot of things going on here.
He even
right?
got cut by the Angels.
Yes.
So there's a lot going on here. But I think the Bob Melvin style of being really even keeled, never getting super animated about anything. That's not how our clubhouse.
Did Bochy get animated? Did Dusty Baker get animated?
Those are different.
Did Felipe Alou get animated? See, this is what I'm talking. This is the part I don't. Look. By the way, I want to make it clear.
You sat next to the dugout.
I want to be clear on this. We don't know with Vitello. Period.
You don't know.
No one.
You're right.
Nobody could say how he will perform. I want him to excel because I'm a Giants fan. I want him to excel. But I can't sit here and tell you, you know what? Tony Vitello is going to make this a 90-win team or an 85-win team or a 75-win team. I can't tell you that.
We have no idea.
We have no idea. But that being said, I'm tired of hearing, well, Bob Melvin, he was boring. Well, tell me a manager out there who's out there that's acting like a freaking maniac, right? Yeah, back in the day, you had freaking Billy Martin and you had Bobby Cox who was animated. Lou Piniella was animated. You had a bunch of guys. Don't get me wrong.
Valentine.
Right. But in today's baseball, do you see guys going out there? Rob Thompson. No, he's calm and collected.
It's not about
Mendoza. Look, this is what I'm tired of. It's
with
weird. You're talking about stuff that really doesn't matter to a certain extent. What matters is you got to make the right decisions. You are the on-field general. You got to make sure you know who you're pinch hitting for, who you're pinch running for, who you're going for in the bullpen. All that stuff. That is your job.
I don't know.
And I have my reasons. I don't like it, Eric. Guys, I don't like this. I don't like getting a guy with no experience at the major league level, and why they didn't bring him in a different capacity. Bring him in you want to make him your manager? The smart move would have been bring him in. He's a bench coach. Bring in a veteran coach, and then the people were saying, "Well, bring him in and bring in a veteran manager underneath that bench."
He was not going to leave for a bench coach job, especially getting paid $3 million in college.
Right. Well, again, that's why he's with the San Francisco Giants, because I didn't see anybody else offering him contracts, and this is
no one even
Giants.
thought.
But people are in the chat continuously. I don't like it. Doesn't mean I know what's going to happen. Eric, I don't think you were too keen on it either. But we don't know if they win 100 games. They win 100 games. Whoopee! This is great.
Yes, correct.
But the beef I have. Again, there's a lot of people in the chat. Oh my God, he's the greatest manager ever. He never even played a game yet, Eric.
We don't know. But I don't like there's clear upsides that may manifest itself.
What are those? Preach to me. Talk to me. What are they?
We've already gone over the upsides and downsides.
I don't see the upsides yet. I don't get
it. They haven't played a game yet. So let's relax with the manager.
Well, that's part of the problem. Marcus. We haven't played a game yet. And like everything else, Giants baseball in the offseason, Eric, you got to agree, last season before, how many seasons off seasons, Eric, do you and I come on this show every night? We talk about, we don't know. We hope. Maybe. The same thing now. Now it's the manager.
That's every team. That's every team in baseball.
Here's another thing. Do you think the Giants go the route of a quote unquote associate or an assistant manager? plus a bench coach? Clubs have done that.
I don't think they will, and it looks stupid to Buster Posey than a guy with no management experience. We better bring in a guy with experience.
Bruce Bochy had an assistant manager last year, right? Didn't he have an assistant manager? I think there's a few clubs that had quote unquote assistant managers. Do you think that the Giants go that route where they have Vitello and where's Tingler is part of the organization, but I have no idea what his role is. There has been no announcement whatsoever on who the role.
I think
that Jace Tingler, is he going to be a bench coach? Is he going to be an advisor? Is he going to be an associate manager?
I think Ibrahim is at the core of what this whole discussion really is about. Is that it doesn't freaking matter who the manager is. Field a good team will win games of baseball.
Oh, I think it matters. We saw even you talk about how bad that our manager was last year. He lost us games last year.
Yeah.
He lost his game, so it is important to the
Schneider. And Schneider lost the Blue Jays the World Series.
So if we're a 500 team next year, it doesn't make the playoffs. You're going to say, well, he had a good year. I don't want a good year.
I'm tired of the good year, I'm tired of the 500. We gotta.
If you're Eric, if you're willing to sign a manager with no experience,
I'm tired of it, dude.
If you want to sign a manager with no experience,
I'm just happy.
But it shows me a team that is content to go and sign the Sonny Grays and the Max Scherzers of the world.
I think it's the opposite. I think it's the exact opposite. I think it shows that Posey is willing to think outside the box and make bold decisions.
Yes,
to do what he thinks
he will.
Absolutely.
Win games of baseball.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
This is where the Giants are. This is the coaches. This is where we currently are here.
That didn't take much room in the yearbook next year, Eric.
Hunter Mentz is the new hitting coach, and they signed some other guys, right?
I'm just saying, you need a first base, a third base, a bench coach. You need a look. How many games did the Giants lose? How many did the Giants lose because of the third base coach decisions? Last year.
Guys
it's vital, right? Isn't that a vital position, a third base coach? First base coach. Isn't the first base coach the guy that's going to help you steal bags? That's pretty damn important.
I think that helped us, and now he's in Atlanta.
Yeah, exactly. Now he's in the
But our third base coach costed us games by not sending guys or sending guys on.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what to talk, Eric. Oh my God! Come on! Remember that game I was at, Eric?
Yeah.
And he was out by 12 feet.
Yeah.
That 12 inning game. Whoa, we feel that pain, Armand.
I mean, that's the Giants going to have to do something. Look, we're in free agency. Moves are happening, and you got to have to get your coaching staff in order so you know what. Hey, this is what we're about.
JB, yeah, I agree with JB here too. It's like I don't want to complain about the guy. No data.
We have none.
None.
Right.
He's respected. He's respected by his peers.
That's fair. Yeah.
Nothing.
That's good.
The only person who said anything bad about the guy is Joe Madden, who is washed and retired and doesn't mean anything. What he says doesn't.
I'm
mean
insulted.
Anything.
Yeah.
Exactly. So he's some sensitive old.
And look, I think you know what he's trying to say too. People.
But
there's people in the right that have paid the dues, so to speak, and there's some value to that.
Your dues. I want the best.
See, that's the problem is because when people have done the job for a while and someone who's never done it, there's going to be some animosity. I'm sorry, but there is.
No, of course, yeah,
there is. I'm sorry.
It shows this way in every industry.
Yeah,
where there's a bunch of people who go the conventional routes and pay their dues and till the fields, and there's some people who just are so. They break the mold and they do something interesting. They do something that's never been done before.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. Never been done.
Here's my question to Joe Madden.
What?
Did he have the same stuff when the Guardians hired their current manager when he had
Stephen Vogt?
Stephen Vogt.
No, you know why? Because he was in an MLB. That's why he did.
He didn't come out and say that. He didn't say this about Kurt Suzuki,
because he's had experience.
He's had
experience as a major league player.
As a player.
Vitello comes in with nothing. He got no resume at the major league level.
None. Yes.
There's
no argument. There's no argument. Right?
Nothing.
Look, here we go. There's no argument. He has no MLB resume. Period. Right?
So Eric and Glenn,
we don't know what that means.
I know he's one of an experienced manager, but would you have taken Kurt Suzuki or a former player, Yadier Molina?
Would I have taken Kurt Suzuki over Vitello? Yes, I probably would have. To be honest,
Pujols,
Yachty would Yachty I could see. 'Cause
He'd
the
be
guy's-
aggressive, wouldn't he, Eric?
Pujols, I
Torrey,
don't know.
Torrey Hunter, because he
No.
was looking at jobs.
Yeah, I know. What about David Ross? I like David Ross.
Well,
He never got even. He didn't get
I
in.
don't think
know how much
does he even want to do it.
well, the
I
one
don't think
factor
that's
here,
the
Eric, is
problem.
everybody you're mentioning, all these names, they've got experience to some degree.
They do.
I don't know if you guys ever worked in a corporate environment, like corporate, not, having a good manager really makes a big difference in your career and how you perform as an individual. And a good manager is not about, the technical. I don't care that Tony Vitello never played in the major leagues, because if he's a good manager at the college level, he will be a good manager at every level.
I know, but I played Monopoly.
Hey, well, hold
I
on,
worked
Marcus.
at the bank.
Marcus, you don't think managing 18 to 22-year-olds are different than managing
Of course,
guys
it's
at the big
different.
league level?
Of course, it's different. But there's transferable skills, and
Fair.
it's about the ability to manage. I don't care about his ability to.
But it's different. I mean, I'm sorry, but the you're talking about the oh my gosh, the demographic. It's different, and trust me. Listen to me, Marcus.
There's a lot of.
I'm going to tell you something right now. Hold on. I got
splinters in that lineup,
experience in this.
Eric.
Hold on. When I was in the Air Force, right, and I was a supervisor, I was supervising airmen, right? We're talking anywhere between 18 and into the mid-20s, okay? When I got assigned to Germany, I had to supervise a bunch of 50-year-olds who were in that same position for 20 to 30 years. It's totally different, and I had to adjust my ability to be able to manage
as a
it's
manager.
different, but a lot of people can do it. A lot of people can't do it. That's what I'm trying to say. And at this juncture with Tony Vitello, we have no idea. We're just going to have to see how it plays out. That's it.
One of the factors, though, Eric, was what did
comparison-
every channel and every host and every guest, what was the one thing that came up over and over before the announcement was because of that fractured lineup. You and I sat at the game. You got the Venezuelans and you got the Puerto Rican. They're all here. Pardon my expression. The white guys didn't talk to them.
Yeah,
they were all one in.
Yeah, they were all one in. Yeah.
And Adames and Matos and Ramos all 6 feet away from us there.
Right in front of us, yeah.
And all the other guys were way down there. So, I mean, how does he communicate? How does he communicate? You're right on the money, Eric. Communicates with an older, this isn't college.
Yeah.
You're going to, and remember what Matt Stair said? He's going to be our guest, I think, on a Friday too, Eric.
It's going to be Friday?
Remember what he said about when he was hired as the batting instructor for the Phillies and the Padres. And he just said, I'm out of here. He goes, guys, it's hard to
they don't want to listen.
drag into the water. They won't drink. They don't listen.
And he
goes, they'll work on it. And then they get into a game. What happens? Back to their old ways. They don't listen.
There was, who else? There's a San Francisco Giant who had rumors of doing that. Brandon Belt. A lot of guys were saying, hey, you need to work on something here. And he did not want to adjust his batting. These guys are like, I got to the major league level because I did this, because I'm doing it this way and I'm not going to change. And look, you're going to have to, that's a battle that you're going to have. But that's with anybody, right? That's what, it doesn't matter whether it's a Vitello or whether it's a Bruce Bochy. You're going to have to deal with that. And look, was Bruce Bochy able to get through with Brandon Belt? Well, I don't know. It sounded like he really didn't. So,
sounds like he didn't. Yeah.
Well, it's a risky move. Anyway, you slice it. Risky move.
It is. No, I'll tell you one thing. It's a fact. It's a risky move. And I said this. It's a risky move. Buster Posey, since he has been the Pobo, has taken risk. He took risk on Chapman extending him. He took risk in signing Adames for $180 million. He took a risk in trading for Rafi Devers. He took a risk in hiring Tony Vitello. He's probably going to take another risk here in this offseason. So
there's only one difference, though. Only one difference in all of this structure you're laying out, Eric. The only difference is all those other ones included experience. He knew what he was getting with Devers. He knew what he was getting with Adames. He don't know what he's getting from this guy.
All right, let's get back. Come on, I'm done with the damn Vitello talk. Thanks, Glenn. Appreciate that.
Vitello is Buster's, because I look at how we look at analytics and a lot of the smart people, like they're always trying to outsmart each other. This is Buster's big risk of trying to outsmart.
Yes.
I mean,
we had someone out. Hey, And we had someone else in the front office who tried to outsmart baseball too. I'm not saying it's the same, but we did, right? Come on. It may work. It may not work. I hope it does because I'm tired of 500 baseball. It's got to change.
And with the reference you're making, Eric, you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
No,
You know?
I agree.
There's some good things that they were doing that they overall lost. They lost the clubhouse, they lost the plot, but there were some things that they were doing that were legitimately taking the players a step forward. And I think that, making sure that we have that clubhouse cohesion while, keeping up and innovating and pushing forward in player skill, that is going to be the big thing for the Giants in making sure that we're able to keep up with these other clubs and maximizing the talent that we have and attracting free agents to come play for us. I mean, you hear all the time people who leave the Rockies and go to other teams and they go, wow, like our analytics in the Rockies organization, we were in the Stone Age. It's like nothing, it's like nothing you've ever seen. They get these advanced metrics and the pitch shapes and the scouting at these other clubs and like, holy crap, I'm finally in the 21st century. We need to continue to innovate or else we'll end up like the freaking Rockies.
The Rockies are the stepchild of Major League Baseball. They do their own thing. They're so far out there. They still don't even have a manager.
No, they don't.
I mean, they're DePodesta has a.
That's Mount Everest. That is Mount Everest.
I like the guy they brought in last year in Colorado.
Oh, who was it? Who you talking about? Their manager?
The interim manager?
I would have been all over him. You see him manage last year?
I don't even know who the hell he is. I know he had some success with the Rockies, I think, right? Didn't he have some success? Yeah.
He was the guy. He was the guy I would have liked. So before we go, Marcus, a guy with experience, anybody with experience or Vitello, you're still leaning Vitello?
Yeah, he likes Vitello.
I like to try. I want to try something new.
See, okay, I'm okay with that.
All right, so we don't. Okay, we'll address this again next November. If we miss the playoff by 8 games, we'll do it all over again.
I'm not saying that he's going to be the second coming of Jesus.
Right. You got reasonable expectations. We don't know.
I'm saying that
we don't know.
It could go bad. It could go great. But what we're doing was not working.
I think there's a lot more risk involved. Well, there's more risk involved. So I don't.
You want to talk about risk? Well, let's talk about risk and get this guy for Tony Vitello.
As I said before, we're most definitely open to trying to add some arms that we think are going to help us on the starting side.
There you go, baby. Come on, get it done. Come on, man. Come on. Why the hell not? Why not? What's it going to do? It's going to cost you a couple of players and a bunch of money. Who cares? You're getting a perennial freaking, hey, we could say probably a future all-star, right? Why not? Come on. Oh, by the way, Glenn, so you said Matt Stairs is going to be with us on Friday?
He texted me today. He said he'll let me know midweek. So this.
Okay, and I tell you what, on Wednesday, our buddy Booney from Locked On A's, he wants to talk about the off season, and he really wants to talk to you, Glenn. He sent me a nice text. He goes, "You guys bring fun back to baseball." He loves you, so we're gonna have.
Loves me. What the fuck did I do?
He loves you, dude. He says, "Man, I want to talk to Glenn." Seriously, he said, "I want to talk to Glenn." So
yeah, but do you remember the glowing review I got from your buddy from WWE or WWF? He was like, "Glenn, you're the greatest."
Oh yeah, Vince,
he never came back. He never showed his face on the show.
Well, he's busy. He's busy.
I don't know about this stuff.
He's back in the game. Vince Russo's back in the game, so he's got his plate full. But yeah, Booney from Locked On A's will join us on Wednesday. Should be again
Gotta
talking some more.
Brush up on my Sacramento baseball, I guess.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, you don't. Hey, you don't even. No, we're just going to talk off season and just shoot the shit. Things that we do.
By the way, if we're talking about trading, and we're talking about Santa's wish list. Give me Hunter Green.
Ooh, I would not be opposed to Hunter Green. Lou, as a matter of fact, if Lou was still out there, Lou would be, or he would love to hear that. Hunter Green would be awesome.
You guys heard me at the beginning.
He's got experience.
You guys heard me at the beginning of the season where I said I thought Hunter Green would have a legitimate chance at the Cy Young. He got injured, so he didn't.
Yeah.
Eric, get ready for a DM of a new YouTube video I was watching about Hunter Green and the Reds.
Oh, the postman delivered. He said note. He's finished.
All
his
right,
round.
take it easy, Postman. Thanks for hanging out, buddy. Appreciate it, man.
Eric,
oh my God,
I was watching a video today from another, like a Cincinnati sports page, and it was about Hunter Green and the Reds and what's gone on with them during the season. I'll DM it to you tomorrow.
Jesus.
Appreciate it. They're not going to get rid of him.
Cincinnati Reds channels out there.
Wow. Why would they get rid of him, man? Because the Reds are going
I don't think they're going to get rid of him, but I do think they will listen. And if the right price came,
the Reds are not a big market team. They could definitely use more money and prospects, capital.
They're heavy in pitching. Like I thought they would be one of the teams that would.
Wow.
I thought they'd bring Schwarber home to Ohio.
I thought they were going to make a play for Gino Suarez.
Well, you guys, real quick,
yeah,
I didn't ask Armand and Marcus, were you guys surprised Josh Naylor has already signed?
I'm not, because he really loves Seattle.
What do you think about that price, though? Pretty reasonable.
I think it's
92 for 5.
He's
92.5 for 5 with 6.5 signing bonus, no deferrals. Plus, he got a no trade clause.
He's a solid player that got about what he's worth. You know,
but normally they overpay, so that's what I found interesting. Because he probably could have gone somewhere else, right, for more.
I think he could have.
He probably
not how many teams are looking for a first baseman? A first baseman only. That's the only thing he can play.
Yeah.
So
and DH
looking for a first baseman only, who, isn't as productive as Pete Alonso or looking forward more at the DH spot.
He was the number 2 first baseman on the market. Like it or not, Akamoto and Murakami, they're like the next 2, but they're question marks because they're coming from overseas.
And so I think it made a lot of sense. The guys in the clubhouse in Seattle really like Josh Naylor.
Yep.
And he was just a good fit for what they're doing out there. And I think
so Pete's going back to Mets, right? He's going back to New York to the Mets.
I believe he is because I don't see I don't trust John Henry. I don't know Marcus, if you watched. Yeah, I don't know if you watched this on Friday. Like I brought up some news about John Henry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think the Red Sox. I think their right-handed bat is going to be Gino Suarez, just because they could put him at the DH spot and he could play first.
How much indignity is Pete Alonso going to suffer at the hands of the Mets before he goes somewhere else? You know what I mean?
Like you said, Marcus, who else is looking for a first baseman?
That's true. That's true. I mean, he could go across the city to.
Nope. Hal's not paying him. Hal is like John Henry. So I don't know if you saw Hal, Tom Ricketts, and John Henry are aligning themselves with the smaller market teams and want a salary cap. Hal is not going to pay for Pete. I'm telling you this 100% in my being. If they did not trade for Juan Soto, Hal was never going to be in on him last year. And if the reason why they signed Max Fried was because they lost Juan Soto. Right. He had to show the Yankee fans something. If he didn't do what he did last year, trade for Cody Bellinger as a salary dump, sign Max Fried. He wants a salary cap. He's aligning with that. I don't see them. At best, they would bring back Cody Bellinger on a 6-year deal as the Yankees. That would be their biggest move this year. For position player wise.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
They're not signing Kyle Tucker. They're not going to sign Pete Alonso.
Interesting. All right, let's get the hell out of here, guys. By the way, Hey, and another thing to keep an eye on, what are the San Diego Padres? Maybe we'll talk about that.
Oh,
on
man.
Wednesday.
Ugh.
There may be a
What a
fire
mess.
sale. There may be a fire sale. We'll keep an eye on that one. All right, let's get the hell out of here. Marcus, hey, appreciate you hanging out. Armand, thanks for hanging out. What?
Yeah, I think you did at the beginning of the show, didn't you?
What's up?
We had one come in early from
Fuji.
You got
Yep.
that one?
Got it. Absolutely. All right, Marcus, Armand, hey, appreciate the discussion, guys. We'll do it again. See you. All right.
All right, Eric. Before we go, I got to pounce. I got to always pound like a caged lion the last little while. You guys are doing your thing. So Glenn rants about not wanting to be a 500 team, but then wants to have a 500 manager. I don't really get it.
No.
We got a manager who's 0-0-0. He hasn't managed. He is bottom of the barrel as far as he's done nothing. So until he proves me otherwise, Eric, he's done nothing. We got to wait and see. So why is it so insane? Insane. How do you know he's not a 500 manager? See my point, Eric?
Oh, man, that's funny.
Glenn rants about. So what does insane know that I don't? That he's better than a 500 manager. He's not a 500 manager, Eric. But then he goes on and says, Giants need to be aggressive. They want to win, not play it safe with another experienced hire who gives about 500 baseball. Be aggressive. At the very least, they won't. So again, he
got to have the players.
He thinks Vitello's not a 500 manager. They won't be 500 manager team with this guy. And Glenn hates 500 baseball, but wants to play it safe. I don't get it. Usually Glenn seems reality. But I guess he thinks experience will suddenly make this team a playoff contender.
No.
You know what? I certainly do. We got to go out there and get experienced players, Eric.
We need players. Thank you. Please.
We need experience. If there's a team that, are you telling me the Giants don't? All right, trade off all our veterans again. Let's start fresh, Eric. Insane wants to start fresh. We don't need experience, Eric.
I tell you what.
We don't need Devers bat. We don't need Willie at shortstop or a Golden Glove winner at third. Who needs experience? Come on, Insane. You are insane.
I don't care about this. I don't like the Vitello hire. I'm on record. But I also don't know how he's going to work out. We'll see. We don't know. I hope he has success. That's what I'm hoping for. None of us can sit here and say, this is exactly how it's going to go.
But you can't come in.
Hold on. And I'm done. Look, I'm done. The Vitello, because this is who it is. We can't change it. It's done. It's over. We cannot change it. He is the manager of the San Francisco Giants.
I know.
I don't agree. Look, I
don't agree. We're on the same page.
Don't
but you cannot come in on a game night and say, at the very least, he won't be 500. He could be 3. Eric, what if we win 65 games next year? Well, that's not 500. How do you know we won't be 500? No. You don't know, Insane.
That's the problem.
Stop bitching at me. If you don't know more, you know. Insane, I'll forget more than you'll ever know. Let's shut her down.
With that being said, you guys, enjoy the rest of your Monday night. And we'll be back Wednesday with Booney.
Can't wait, Booney. Can't wait, Booney.
And then don't forget, on Friday, it looks like we may have Matt Stairs, former MLB player. Smacked over 300. Over 300 home runs.
And Friday, we might go on an hour earlier. That is yet to be We'll pass along details Wednesday. Check your local listings.
There you go. Let's get out of here. Guys, be good. Again, appreciate you guys. Fuji, thank you for the super chat. Armand and Marcus, thank you. Lou had technical difficulties. Hey, that happens, man. I get it. It happens.
Yeah, Armand and Marcus. It's good to have guys you can,
it's fun.
Go back and forth with, and
it's fun. That's what it's about. Look, it's about having fun talking baseball. That's
4 ugly guys better than 2.
All right, guys, we're out of here. Woo!
You've been watching Giant Sports Talk Live with Eric and Glenn, a Northern Lights Entertainment Broadcasting production.